legislature in my district, and that's what's very concerning. So, for everybody just joining on, hey everybody, my name is Marcus C. Williams. I'm running for New York State 137th Assembly District, covering the majority of the city and the whole town of Gates. Tonight, I want to go into some things about what policies I'd like to introduce and I'd fight for as we go into this election cycle when I get into office. So right now, I'm running for state assembly. And state assembly are the people that do all the budget. So they do not just the budget, but they also do the, what would you say, all the laws and all the legislation. So the people that do the budget and all the laws and all the legislation. Now, here's the deal. There's a lot of laws and legislation and issues that are facing our city, our town, and our whole state that a lot of people don't like. And some of those are things I'm going to address. And we'll start off with the schools and education, because what is more important than schools and education? Schools and education, all of the crime, all of the jobs, all of the everything goes back to school and education. So here are some of my schools and education policies that I would fight for as far as the legislation as well. So my goal would be to stop the decreasing quality of education. So as we've seen, they've moved away from teaching basic reading, writing, and math, right? What do they call those? The 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. And we need to stick on the things that have worked, that have provided for people to become constructive members of society. If you're not able to do basic math, if you're not able to read, if you're not able to write, then you're basically SOL. And you're left out to the wind because you're not going to be able to get a job without any of that. You're not going to be able to do anything without basic life skills. And those are some of the most basic, most critical skills that anybody needs. We know that when children have low reading scores, that they're less likely to perform in life. They've got it where they say that essentially the way that they build the prisons is based off of the numbers of the reading scores in 3rd grade. And everybody knows that that's not new news. So why are we not making sure that the children are able to read and write, and we're graduating people that are functionally illiterate? That's a serious issue. So I'd like to renew the focus on reading, writing, and math. It's that simple. And we can do that through legislation and through focused initiatives that are pushed out by the state assembly. Remember, the state assembly not only controls the laws, so they actually control what the children are able to do in the schools. And they might try to say, well, we've got the State Board of Education, but you're the ones who write the laws. Don't play in my face like I'm silly. Okay. So, but also they can earmark specific funds from the state budget specifically for those endeavors. They'd say, this is your percentage of what your thing is. These are the percentage that must 100% be spent on that. And here we go. So we also need to restore a focus on trades and job connectivity, right? So what does that mean? So that means basically what we have going on with let me put it like this. We've got all these jobs that want to hire people, right? So why aren't we training the kids in high school for the jobs that are out there already? They can start working the jobs in high school, get trained during the school time to go into the job that they're going to work afterward. And then they can work the same job outside of work that they've been already working and trained on while they've been in school. Then we also have the trades, like we've taken that out of schools. They've got a little teeny bit back, and now people are like, oh, well, we need to push for trades. Yeah, but where is your focus on it? Like, you say these things out your mouth, but where is the actual action? Lip service, right? Well, we put a couple dollars here, we put a couple dollars there, and nobody trying to hear that. This is a very crucial necessity for the performance of our future and how we can restore the quality of life in our society. We see so many people struggling with good paying jobs and stuff like that right now. And we look at what's going on with all of the different things like the mechanization, the automation, and the AIization. I just made that up, but the AI taking over everything. So these are serious issues that are facing us. And it's a real problem, but it's not being addressed because of the focus of our educational system and how it is wrong. Another thing I'd like to work on is putting money and budgeting more money for religious schools, for charter schools, and stuff like that, and giving you the ability to direct your funds for your tax money that in many areas you'll pay. For instance, if you live in the city of Rochester, and I know it's similar for Gates, if you live in Gates, like your tax money that you're paying on your house goes to the school. So, I'm not sure what the differentiation as far as the percentages goes between Gates and what the city does, but almost all of the city taxes that they collect for your property go to the schools, right? So if that's the case and you want it to go to a charter school, you should be able to direct that money. You understand? And people will say, oh, well, that'll take away from public education. Well, what is public education doing for our children right now? You look at Rochester right now, all of the charter schools are bubbling. They're doing great, fantastic things. They've got, not only do they have a list all the way down the street and around the corner, a waiting list for years of kids that want to get into the schools because the performance is so fantastic. And realistically, we need to be focusing on what the charter schools are doing, because clearly they're doing something right that the city schools aren't doing. Maybe we should model that type of behavior that we want, that type of success that we want. We know that modeling works. And if you model success, you will be successful. Period, point blank. I shouldn't have to talk about that when it comes to education, because all the educators know that. That's what they've been taught and trained all their whole life. Come on now. Like, these are basic everyday things that everybody should know. So if the charter schools are doing right, maybe we should be looking at what they're doing. But we should definitely be focusing more money on being allocated to enable it to be used by charter schools, by religious schools, or even by home schooling, because that's a large growing segment. People want to do their own children. Maybe just make it so that if you're doing homeschooling and you own your house, you don't have to pay the property tax that would go to the school system. Because why should you pay for that if you're homeschooling your children? Are we being real and frank right now? And people say, oh, well, that'll take money away from them. What if it takes money away from them? What if? What if it does? Have you seen the fact that they are graduating kids? And I'm not talking about in small numbers. In the city, it's like 80 to 87% of the kids are graduating functionally illiterate, can't read, can't write. Okay, we got the second highest budget in the nation and the second lowest proficiency rating per student. I mean, well, second highest in the whole nation, period. But per student, we pay more than every other school. What are we doing? What are we doing? Clearly, it's not working. So that needs to be changed. There needs to be a refocus of the way that the funds are allocated and the funds are spent. Because clearly, I don't know where the money is going, but it's going somewhere. And it definitely isn't to reading, writing, and arithmetic. And it's definitely not to job integration. Okay. And it's definitely not to the trades. So how is it benefiting the kids? And don't even get me started on athletics and gym. Okay. Where is the gym? They talk about so many of the kids. What is it? Something like, I believe I was just watching a documentary last night. They said the majority of Americans are not overweight, they are obese. Something like 67% of Americans are obese or something, it was saying. And then like another 25 or something are overweight. So why aren't we focusing on health and eating healthy and teaching the kids about that? Why aren't we teaching them the importance of exercise and things like that? Like, these are basic things that they need so that they can be healthy, so that they can continue to be people that are actually inputting into our society in a positive manner. And if that's what we want, that's what we need to do. So that's what some of my plans would be for education. Now, I'd like to move on to the crime, and you guys can comment. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Definitely, please do donate to my campaign. That's www.marcus4rochester.com. That's Marcus4rochester.com. Donate. You don't have to be in the district to donate. Donate, and you can volunteer if you're in district and help me out, knock some doors, do some flyers and stuff like that, make some phone calls. I appreciate you ever so much. So let's go into lowering the crime. We see that the crime is destroying everything in our society right now. In Gates, in the city, we see people that are having their businesses ransacked continuously. We see people in their car outside of their home getting carjacked, or like last night, the man was in his car minding his business, shot dead. But we see the continued growing of stabbings and crazy stuff, outlandish stuff, like people riding on motorcycles attacking people with machetes. Like that's some Caribbean type of crime. Like that's not a North Atlantic, Monroe County type of a crime in the United States. What's going on? Like this is real and this is serious, but it's not being addressed. And the crime continues to grow. Why does it continue to grow? Well, it continues to grow because of a number of different laws. Some of the laws that are impacting us the biggest are bail reform and raise the age. Some people will argue, say, oh, no, it's not that, it's not that. But it actually is. And that is a serious issue, because when there are issues, when there are problems with laws that people have advocated or people have pushed for, they got their heads so far up their own behinds that they refuse to fix the stuff that they see is broken and isn't working. Now, how is that serving our community? You make it make sense to me. It's not serving our community. If it's broke, fix it. You can amend it. I'm not, well, at least I'm not saying that you should get rid of it completely. Maybe it was well-intentioned, but clearly it's not working out well. And we could definitely debate on whether it was well-intended, or as many of our people, including my opponent, Demond Meeks, and my senator, Jeremy Cooney, have said, it's working exactly the way that it's supposed to be working. Oh, really? You mean that it's encouraged more crime and more criminals and more youthful offenders? You mean that that's the way that it's intended to be working? Because that's what I'm seeing every day outside my door. That's what I'm experiencing in real life. Or do you not live here with everybody else? These laws have encouraged more violence, more crime. Okay, we've seen more drugs pumped into our communities than ever, So what is going on? And the start would be to amend bail reform and amend raise the age, because those are two of the biggest issues that are impacting our society. Period, point blank. There needs to be some adjustments made there. There needs to be some fixes made there. And I could dive into that on a whole nother time, but I want to try to get through the rest of this stuff. Jail and prison reform are a very large thing for me. We need comprehensive jail and prison reform. I know people will say, well, people just need to be in jail. Listen, you talking to me, I'm saying put them all in jail, put the criminals in jail. But the problem is that jail's not working, because they call it rehabilitation or they call it correctional facilities. It's not rehabilitating or correcting nothing. People are coming right out. They're going right back into crime, or they learn to be better criminals inside, or more hardened criminals inside. So what service are we doing for the community if the criminals are in jail and prison and they're becoming worse criminals when they get out? That means something is wrong. The system is broken. But we got people like my opponent, Demond Meeks, and other people in Albany that'll say, oh, well, we gave you this little piddly criminal justice reform, which really hurt the community, but we're not going to talk about that. But we'll give you this piddly criminal justice reform, but we won't really do anything serious. Because did they fix the jails? No. The prison system is crazy. It's atrocious. If you're in the prison and you've ever been to prison, ask somebody about the quality of life in there. It's absolutely atrocious. Okay, ask them about the quality of food. It don't even make no sense. And you want these people to come out and be productive members of society? That ain't right. That's not working, and it's not going to make anything better. It's only going to make stuff worse. But they refuse, and I hold this up specifically on the Democrat Party. Now, if you're Democrat, I still do encourage you to vote for me, because it doesn't matter what party you are, independent, Democrat, whatever, you can vote for me in November. Okay, I will be on the Republican and the conservative line, and I'm not asking you to vote for anybody else on any of them lines. I'm just asking you to vote for me. Heck, you don't even got to go in and vote for nobody else. Just go in and bubble my name in. Okay, but I really get upset with the Democrat Party on this, because they're supposed to be like, oh, we love the criminals so much. But what are you doing about fixing the prison system? Nothing. And I know my Wi-Fi on this is kind of fading out on some of this stuff, but they're shutting down jails and prisons and letting everyone out. How is that helping? Again, the rehabilitation and the correction is not there. It's not happening. We need to take a serious look at that, and we need to address some of the quality of life issues as well as the reintegration programs that we have going on, because we do not have a real serious set of reintegration stuff like we should. The Department of Jails has a couple of different programs and stuff like that, but it's wholly insufficient if we want people to be able to reintegrate. Yeah, I see you, Dave. The audio was cutting out, so I tried to go back over what I was talking about a little bit. So I hope that you guys can hear me now. Yeah, so the comprehensive prison reform is something that I want to push for very hard. Quality of life in there, quality of training. And I also want to do a similar thing with the jails and prisons that I want to do with the high schools, where it's working with people that are about to get out so that they can train on jobs that are already hiring and are willing to hire people with a record. There's a lot of jobs out there willing to hire people with a record. Okay, but it's difficult to connect the two. So if we connect them with the job that they're working and able to transition out of, that they've already been prepared for and working while they're inside, bing, bang, boom, they're more likely to have success. They're off to the races. You know, we also need to work on the housing situation when people come out, because you look at what's going on with these halfway houses and stuff like that. They're absolutely atrocious and terrible. That's a serious issue. Okay. Or people have to go back into the same areas that they came out of, that they were doing crime in. And many times they're lured back into crime, or they don't have many other options. So they do go back to crime. And we can work on that. It's very simple, but we have to have the wherewithal to actually talk about it. And they won't talk about it, but they'll give you middly piddly stuff right now and tell you that everything is great and they're doing fantastic stuff, and it's all lies. I'd also increase the punishments on people that are trafficking drugs into our community, because that's crazy. All of these drugs coming into our community. We got the police, we got the ATF, we got the FBI, we got the DEA, and you mean to tell me that all of these drugs are still getting into my community? Don't play in my face. Don't play in my face. Okay, but they don't want to talk about that. So we don't have to talk about that. Let's talk about locking up the criminals that are trafficking the drugs and that are selling the drugs. Okay, they got these people out here strung out on the street, bent over backwards, like they some zombies in an apocalypse video. Okay, people with half their flesh eaten off by some of these drugs that are given out here. I've never seen nothing so atrocious. And then almost everyone, I'm sure any of you guys watching right now, knows somebody that's been impacted by the opioid crisis or by overdoses. So I encourage you, please help me fight to win this. Donate, volunteer, do what you can. Go to my website, Marcus4Rochester.com. That's www.Marcus4Rochester.com, because I'm fighting to make a difference and really stand up and advocate for our community, for our people, for our area, and for our state. Now, let's go on, because we got a lot more to cover, and I want to make sure that I don't keep you guys too long. Energy policies. So I want to lower the energy prices, because did you guys hear that RG&E and National Grid are talking about they're going to raise the energy prices up $41? Yeah, they're going to raise it up $41. Now, ask yourself why they're going to raise it up $41. I'll tell you. Because the state assembly has shut down a number of our natural gas plants. They've shut down a large portion of projects that were coming up to actually create more pipelines to transfer the natural gas and other types and other oils and heating stuff. So that's a problem. And we also still do have, guess what? Well, we have plants that use natural gas to produce energy. How about that? But we've got an energy-rich future that they're trying to drive us to and make everything electric, but we don't even have the supply capacity. Come on now. They have shut down nuclear reactors, which offer some of the cleanest, most smallest footprint for energy. You understand what I'm saying? Way less than any solar panels or wind farms, and they produce way more. And people say, oh, well, nuclear isn't safe. It's way safer than what anybody can ever think of. And more than that, okay, the new nuclear reactors like the SMRs, I encourage you to look them up at some point, are they don't even have any of the conceptual issues that you would have thought ever have been. And I've been starting to wonder, are even the nuclear issues that we've had that serious, since people like Microsoft are now reopening the 3 Mile Island reactor, okay, which 3 Mile Island was a nuclear reactor that they said had a meltdown. It was like our biggest issue with nuclear, a nuclear meltdown or a nuclear incident in the US ever, you know, and apparently they can just go back there and open it up, so that's crazy. I see you, Dave. Dave said that his bill's already gone up another extra $50 a month. It's crazy. And this is what's going on. This is what's going on. And I see you, Yvonne. I see you. You said you agree with what I was saying about the teachers. I appreciate that. And the schools and education system is true. So back on energy policy. So here's my pitch to you guys. Okay. One, we end the state gas tax for 10 years. That gives us a time for us to have lower gas prices and lower prices as far as transporting goods, so that we can build the infrastructure and get everything going that we need to actually go over to this all electric future, if that is the way we are going to go. Two, lower energy costs for the delivery charge, which is controlled by the state assembly. So that's when they send it. You can open your RG&E bill or whatever you have for your provider, whether it's RG&E, National Grid, or whatever. You open your RG&E, you'll see a PSC. Okay, it's a delivery service charge, and that is what comes out of the state assembly. The state assembly decides on that. Okay, I'd also work to lower the taxes for utility providers. Okay, so that they can pass that savings on to you. Because people say, oh, well, if you're a residential person, you don't get taxed on your gas and electric. You don't, but the companies do. And they have to pay on that. And then when they pay on that, then they pass it on to you. So you might as well be being taxed on it anyway. It's a silent tax. Same thing like inflation is a silent tax. You get in charge and you don't even realize it. Now, also, I'd like to end the taxes that are on for commercial energy as well. Again, this is for 10 years as we're working on this transition to lower and spark the economy. So the more businesses that are created by sparking the economy, the more tax money that goes into the coffers of the state anyway. So it would offset it. Plus, people would have more money in their pockets to buy more things, which would increase more jobs and increase more people going into business. I'd also like to expand and invest in green nuclear energy. We talked a little bit about that. And I'd like to repeal and push back every single electric mandate that they have right now. They're forcing everybody in New York State by 2030. You got to get rid of your gas heater. You got to get rid of your gas furnace. You got to get rid of your gas stove. You got to get rid of your gas water heater. All of it. They want it gone by 2030. And if people change all of their heating and cooling over and all of that, you can be looking at upwards of $20,000, $30,000. Who's got that extra money to spend? Even if you're going to replace your stove, that's another $2,000 right there, easy. If you want a decent one, maybe you get one for $1,000. You know what I'm saying? But again, who has $1,000? Most people don't got $200 if they got an emergency. Are we being real right now? No, they don't care. That's why they put in a mandate. Like, it's not an option. They're saying you must do this. And whenever the state says that you must do something, that is a problem. They shouldn't be mandating anything, because their job is to serve you, not serve their own benefactors, not serve the special interests, and not serve the people who put money in their coffers. And that's exactly what they're doing. And that's exactly what I'm fighting against. I don't have a lot of big donors or anything like that. I'm not funded by Downstate or Albany or big giant investors and stuff like that. So I encourage you, please help me in this fight. Donate, do what you can. Go to my website, Marcus4Rochester.com. That's Marcus4Rochester.com. And if you can take 2 seconds, hit the like button and share this. Please like and share. That helps a lot too. So let's go on to my plan for small businesses. Okay. So I'm a small business owner myself. I believe very strongly in the entrepreneurial spirit. That's what drives our country. And not only that, small businesses provide about 87% of the jobs in our state. So that's very, very serious. So we need to make sure that we've got a thriving industry for small businesses. So here's some of the things that I'd push for that. So lower business taxes and lower the number of regulations, because we got all types of crazy regulations. The state is putting this arbitrary thing on here, this stupid thing on here. You got to do this, you got to do that. Why we got to do all these new things? Stop trying to add more stuff that doesn't need to be done. The regulations are bad. We can go over that in another time in another issue. But the business taxes, everybody knows about taxes. The taxes are too high. The taxes are too high. They're crushing small businesses. They're making it difficult for them to hire people, because if you're hiring somebody, essentially, you need about 2 times what they're making to actually pay them. It's really about 1.5, 1 in a 7. So you're almost paying for 2 people per person that you're employing. That's how it is for most jobs. So that's something that's very serious. Some taxes, they got to come down. They got to come down. And the regulations, the stupid stuff that they got, you got to do this, you got to do that, all this extra stuff that they've added over the years, that needs to be trimmed back, because it's very burdensome, especially for the smaller businesses. And sometimes it can become very expensive depending on what industry that you're in. I'd also like to do lower interest loans for small businesses. That's very important. They need access to capital, especially people that are entrepreneurs starting their businesses. Most businesses don't fail because they're no good. Most businesses fail because of lack of access to capital. I know some people that have small businesses right now that can take out these loans and they have to pay back 25% interest on these loans, tens of thousands of dollars, okay, because they can't get regular loans. But they can pay back all of these loans and they still can't get regular loans. Why is that? Somebody make it make sense to me. Okay, so I believe that the state needs to work on something for that, because they need access to low interest capital if we want to build a strong business portion in our state, but also strong jobs and opportunities. We want people to be hiring. We want more people to start their own businesses. We want to encourage business, not deter it. So I'd also work on employee retention and tax breaks. Okay, that's a big thing. So going into employee retention tax credits and stuff like that, we've seen a couple of different programs that have been launched over the years as far as that goes. And some of them are actually really good and they've worked well. But we also see that a lot of them have gone away and it's not happening. I'm not really a big tax credit person. I'm more of a tax break person. I don't think you should have to give your money to the government to begin with, because why should you give them money and then they give it back to you? That doesn't make sense. Just don't take it to begin with. And that's also separately why I believe that we should get rid of income tax on the money that you earn, that you worked hard for. You deserve to keep the money that you earn. You work for it. The state taxes you on everything else. I've already named like 5 other separate taxes that we get taxed on. Okay. And it's dozens more. But so that, then also new higher child care cost offsets. Okay. So that's for people that are going out to a job. They got a new job. They might be on social services or whatever. One of the big issues that I've seen, even me as an employer, is that people, when they start a job, if they have kids, childcare is a burden. But worse so if they're on social services with childcare, where they will cut them off the second that they get a job. They might have worked a job 1 week and they will cut them off of childcare. So I've had many people say, listen, I just stopped working because, well, I couldn't pay for childcare and I was making more when I was on social services. And that's jacked up. That's not helping our economy. That's pulling away from our economy. And that's not encouraging people to be more successful. That's keeping them under the boot of an oppressive government. And that's not how government's supposed to be. And we're not playing them games. So offset for childcare for new hires. Okay. And I'd also like to see some other stuff worked in with childcare in general, but that's a separate conversation. I'm specifically talking about small business right now. So I encourage you guys, please help me fight to be an advocate for our community, for the people, and be able to stand up in Albany and push for these things and to push to be a voice for you, what you see as everyday issues. Go to my website, donate, do what you can. That's Marcus, the number 4, Rochester.com. That's Marcus, the number 4, Rochester.com. And donate and volunteer if you can. But real quick, hit the like button a couple of times and hit share so it can get out to more people. Definitely share. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe or follow depending on what platform you're on. Now let's go into cutting taxes. So policies as far as cutting taxes. First off, the taxes are out of control, completely out of control. And I believe that you deserve to keep the money that you make. So as I said, you worked hard for your money. You shouldn't be paying state income tax. And people say, well, what about the income tax? I'm not trying to hear none of that. We've got many other states that don't have state income tax, you know? And many of those states still say, well, some of them, people that know anything about anything, most people don't know how it actually works. But some of those naysayers will say, well, they have VAT taxes there. Well, they might have VAT taxes there, but we still got the highest taxes in the nation somehow. Explain it to me. How do we still have higher taxes here than anywhere else? And you're saying that they got these other taxes. So clearly it's not working out. So I'd like to push to abolish state income tax. Now, some people say, oh, well, that might not be realistic or whatever. Listen, I promise you, as you have my word, okay, and I don't put my word on a lot of things, I will fight to abolish state income tax. I'm going to fight so hard that they're going to start lowering all your taxes because I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to advocate hard. I'm going to pull you guys in because we deserve to keep the money that we make. We do. And I'm going to make sure that I get you guys involved too, because they need to understand that this is a whole community issue and ain't nobody got all this extra money to give to the government when all this inflation is going sky high and they're not doing anything about it. That's also an issue that the majority of my policies address vicariously is the inflation. That's why you see all of this tax cutting. That's why you see all of this business encouragement. That's why you see all of the educational collaboration and stuff like that to encourage more education and positive things like that, as well as working on the reform with the prisons and stuff like that, because we can work to fight back this insanity that has been thrust upon us that's burdening us all in all of our pockets. I'd also push for 55 and older, no tax on homes if it's their main occupant home, you know, and they've owned it for so many years. I'd push for that for them because they're graying and it's more difficult, and being on a single income that's just something that comes from the government or a pension or something like that, it's not very much a lot, and people are struggling, especially with the increased taxes. And you might have seen the reassessments. If you own property and you've seen some of these reassessments, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'd also push for first-time home buyers property tax exemptions for the first 5 years. So essentially, you wouldn't have to pay tax on your first home for the first 5 years that you have it. They already do these types of things for big businesses and stuff like that. When they buy all of these millions and millions of dollars of property, they'll do it for them, but they can't do it for you, but they're using your money to offset their costs. Come on, make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. So I fight for that for you guys. I'd also fight to abolish the gas tax. We talked about that a little before, what you got to pay for your car tax, because you shouldn't be having to pay all this money when they're talking about, oh, you're going to have to get an electric car. You're going to have to get an electric car. So why are you taxing me more on gas right now? If you want me to do that, you should want me to have more money in my pocket. You should want it to be less expensive for me to be able to get to work so that I can make more money so that I could buy that car if I wanted to. But you can't, because you can't save no money in New York State because they taxing you to death. So I'd also push for 1 year tax-free on all food. Now, people will say, well, there's not taxes on food or whatever. First of all, I don't know where you shop. A lot of the food is still taxed. Okay, I don't know if you actually read your actual thing when you go to the store. It's still taxed. Much of it is still taxed. And people will say, oh, well, it's not, or it's not, it doesn't matter. Because I'm not just talking about that. I'm not just talking about the taxes when you go to the store, but I am also talking about the taxes when you go to the store. I'm talking about all of the costs that go into food production. Okay, I'm talking about all of the costs that go into food transportation. I'm talking about all of the costs that go into purchasing the agricultural stuff that you need to grow the food or to make the food. Like, if you have animals and stuff like that, you got to grow and feed the animals and stuff like that. So all of that, no taxes on any of that. Okay. All of it for a year. Okay. For 1 year, so that we can try to get our money back together and invest our money in the right direction so that people can make more expenditures. And I guarantee you would see a bump in the economy very high, more than enough to offset that. Because when people can eat quality food, people are more productive. It's just that simple. We know that. That is basic science. People be like, trust the science. Well, that's science. Everybody knows if you eat better, if you eat healthier, if your food is more nutrients and it doesn't have all of this excess, extra heavy duty processed stuff, then you and your body are more healthy and you can be more productive. It's really simple. It's not crazy. I'd also like to put forth tax-free childcare tax for the provider and for the parent, right? So you get taxed on childcare. So you get taxed as a provider for childcare. I believe that tax should be completely gone because that'll lower the cost of childcare. And I would fight very seriously for all of these things that I am stating, not just that. So I encourage you, help me fight, help me advocate. Go to my website, donate. Please, please, please. I need your help. Donate. I'm not backed by a whole bunch of big backers or anything like that. I'm a grassroots campaign. Very simple, just trying to fight for my community that I love. Marcus4Rochester.com. That's Marcus, the number 4Rochester.com. You don't even have to be in the area or the district to donate. Donate, please. And if you're in the district, please volunteer if you can to help me knock some doors and stuff like that. And I'd also like to talk, lastly, there's a lot of other things I'd like to go over, but I'm going to close this evening because I don't want to keep you forever. I'm going to close this evening with my plan for seniors and my policies that I would do for seniors, because we have a large part of our population is a graying population. We know that already. We know that people are aging out of the workforce, and we need to do something about that, to help them out because they've been productive members this long, and we want to make sure that they're not struggling, but they are. The old concept of some seniors have to eat cat food to survive is a real serious thing. It's real. Like, I see seniors getting fleeced all the time, and because they have hardly no money. So they're struggling to make it more so, even some of them, than average people. So that's something we need to work on, because we should honor our seniors and make sure that they're taken care of. So for the seniors that are struggling, these are some of my policies that I push forth. So stable housing, right? That's very, very crucial for our elderly. Not everybody should have to go into these retirement centers and these care homes and stuff like that just steal away all of their money that they've worked to save up and earn their whole life. They should be able to age at home, age in place, the way at the home that they love, where they live, and we should work to make that happen. So again, for the 55 and older, the no tax on their homes, that's a big thing for me. And I'd like to fight to simplify Medicare and work to lower the prices. Do you know that the state has cut Medicare multiple times? And honestly, and again, if you're Democrat or you're independent, you can vote for me. Even though I'm Republican, you can vote for me. I'm not asking you to vote for anybody else on the line or anywhere else. I'm just saying, vote for me, whether you're Democrat or independent or whatever. Even though I'm a Republican, you can vote for me. And I'm going to say this next part because this next part is very important. The Democrats here in New York State control the governor, they control the state assembly, and they control the state Senate. It's not Republicans doing any of this that's going on. So they cut Medicare, okay? They cut it. And then they'll say, oh, well, Republicans are the problems, but they're the ones that passed the laws in New York State to cut it. And that's good information, important information for you to have and share with other people, because people don't know, because these politicians get up and they lie. They lie through their teeth. They lie to you. They play in your face and they tell you things that are not true. So I would fight to simplify Medicare because it's so complicated and there are so many issues inside it that are just siphoning away more and more money, that are costing the state more and more money. So the state's not even able to provide all the services that are necessary and needed. So that's one of the big things that I'd fight for, as well as lowering the prices, because that's out of control what they're charging to Medicare. It's absolutely crazy. So more active living programs. That is a big thing for me. So people can actually age and be happy, and they can actually be healthy. We know that one of the biggest burdens in our elderly population is healthcare. We see it every day as people that are not in retirement age yet. So if we help create more programs to encourage them to get active, be active, and have active, healthy lifestyles, they'll be able to have less health issues. And we just know that simply. Again, this is a trust to science thing. We all know that this is true, but then how come we're not doing this and putting this stuff forward? If we all know it's true, how come they're not doing it now, right? Like nobody will ever tell you, no, if you're more active, you won't be more healthy. Nobody's going to say that, because everybody knows that if you're more active, you're more healthy. And we know that as you age, if you're more active, it also keeps you sharper mentally. So that's something that I would fight for as well. And also expanding companion care. Many elderly feel depressed, they feel lost, they feel empty because a lot of them don't have family that go see them or visit them and stuff like that. We need to expand companionship care and just friendship oriented stuff for them, because we know, again, it goes with health, it goes with state of mind, it goes with mental health, all of that stuff. If they have people that they know are going to be and have that type of special relationship with them in a friendship type of companion type of capacity. And there are programs for that out there. We just need to expand the ability to access them and funding, as well as encouraging people to go into those fields. And I'd like to add with that portion, programs to fight loneliness and stuff like that as well. I'd like to put grandparent as child care provider eligibility. That is a very big thing for me. I want to make sure that if your grandparents are watching your kids, if your parents are watching your kids, you know what I'm saying? They should be able to get paid as if they were a child care provider just from the state, if there are state funds available for that. So that, and there are, right? Like if you're on social services or if you're on other special programs, they do help offset some of your child care services. So I believe that they should be able to pay grandparents to watch the children. I believe that you should be able to pay your grandparents to watch your children, and they shouldn't be taxed on it, and they should be able to have it as not something that is going to pull back on their retirement or pull back on the amount of services that they get. I believe that that should be put into law as well. That is a very serious thing that would be very immensely helpful. Dave, I see you say something. What'd you say, Dave? Dave says, you are one of two politicians I have donated to. I respect the hard work you put in. Thank you so much, Dave. That really, really means a lot to me. It really, really does. And I appreciate you ever so much. So you guys, as we get to the end here, and I got other policies and stuff, but I don't want to bend your ear all night. But this is a large covering of all of the policies and things that I would fight for. Check me out. Go to my website. Please donate, you guys. I need your donations to help fight for our community, to help fight to improve the quality of life, and to help fight back this oppressive government that is crushing us, because they don't care about us. They only care about themselves and their benefactors. Donate. Marcus, the number 4 Rochester.com. That's Marcus, the number 4 Rochester.com. It doesn't matter whether you're in the district or you're not in the district. You can donate to my campaign. Help me fight for the community. Help me fight for the people, and help me be an advocate and a strong voice to stand up for the people, regardless of what anybody else says or regardless of what anybody else is willing to do. I will stand up. I will fight for you, and I will speak up, and I won't shut up, because you matter to me, and it's very clear that you don't matter to these other elected officials. So I encourage you, please donate to help me win so I can get this message out to more people. That's Marcus, the number 4 Rochester.com, Marcus, the number 4 Rochester.com, and share this video. Share it everywhere that you can. Share, 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 and definitely hit the like button, hit the heart button. And if you're not following me now, Definitely follow and subscribe depending on what platform you are on. But definitely the best thing that you guys can do, even if you can't donate, is share this with everyone you know in any groups, any forums, wherever on your page, whatever you can do. That helps a lot. And again, please donate. That's Marcus, the number 4Rochester.com. Marcus, the number 4Rochester.com. And as we close here, I want to remind you guys, early voting starts October 26th through November 3rd. So early voting, October 26th through November 3rd. You can vote at any of the early voting sites. You can check that out at the Monroe County Board of Elections on the website for them. I'm going to be adding that access on my website soon. So that'll be on my website in the next 2-3 days. By Monday, it'll be up on my website too, where the early voting sites are. And you can find out where your regular polling place is, because regular election day is November 5th. So please get out and vote. And I'm not asking you to vote for anybody else. I know a lot of people feel tore up. I don't know who to vote for. I'm not sure if I could vote for this position. I'm not asking you to vote for anybody else, just for me. That's it. Vote for Marcus C. Williams. That's it, because you can believe in me, because I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to speak up, because I've been doing that. Please help me help us, because we deserve better. And it's about time that we get it. So definitely, November 5th is election day. October 26th through November 3rd is early voting. Get out and vote. Encourage your friends, family, heck, encourage your enemies that are like-minded to vote. Okay? We got to get people out to vote. And I encourage them to all vote for me. And remember, whether you're Democrat, independent, or whatever you are, whatever you identify politically, you can vote for me, Marcus C. Williams. No matter what party you are, you can vote for me, Marcus C. Williams. I'm going to be on the Republican and the conservative line, and that's okay. Maybe I'd be the first Republican you'd ever vote for, but that's fine. You can vote for anybody else on there that you want to also. But for state assembly, vote Marcus C. Williams. That's my message to you. I got you. I'm going to fight for you, and I'm going to stand up, and I'm not going to back down to Albany. I'm not going to back down for downstate. I'm not going to back down for any of these other politicians or nobody else or anything that anybody got to say, because at the end of the day, they don't have our best interests at heart. They only care about themselves. They only care about staying in power. And I don't give a flying monkey's uncle. Honestly, I believe very firmly at some point, they're going to start locking up people that speak out against the stuff that the government's doing that they don't like. So I'm going to speak up, and I'm going to stand up until that day comes. And I'm going to continue to fight forward for all of you, for what is best, for what is just, and to stand up in righteousness, because there is a positive right way forward. And I pray that I am encouraging you to have heart and not to give up, because I know so many people have given up. And I just want you to understand that there is real reason to have faith. Stay strong, be blessed, and be well. I'll catch you guys later. Remember, share, like, subscribe, hit the share button right now. Please donate. Marcus, the number 4Rochester.com. That's Marcus, the number 4Rochester.com. You guys be blessed, be well, and remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. Good night, everybody.